Oh, welcome back to the Mookie Chilson channel, and you are looking live at another cue card. This is an outline, a rundown of what we're going to talk about in the order in which we're going to discuss it, and this is the full Folio Fever episode here at Mookie Chilson World Headquarters, and the meaning of that will reveal itself before this episode resolves, I promise. But we're going to start with a little UB40, not the British rock band UB40. This is UB40, and if you're paying attention to the foreground and what you're seeing there, you'll have a little clue. We have a Burdick move next, not a Burdick move, a Burdick move next. A Pearl of Wisdom is coming tonight. We also have a Trade Night Victory that I will explain to you. A terrific Tom patch, which surprised me. I will show you that, and then we'll go to the folio. Now, when I go to, let's start out with UB40. When I go to an antique store or a card shop or any kind of small business and I'm trying to patronize, I always consider that when I walk through the door, $20 is going to be the ante. I'm going to spend $20 on something because they are taking me in to shelter me from the storm. They're providing me with warmth and entertainment of some kind, some conversation, and I want to support local. So I went to the antique store very recently and found in their sort of bric-a-brac ephemera section a group of cards that fell into that maybe $20 range. So anyway, Hubie Brooks. Hubie Brooks is a 1981 Mets rookie. He was traded in the Gary Carter trade, and I found at this antique store a Hubie Brooks Super Collector's collection, about 25 or so pages of cards in sleeves of all manners, starting with rookie cards. There are Tiffany's in there, O-Pee-Chee's in there, oddball issues, oversized issues. The amount of Hubie Brooks cards in there were crazy. And the thing is, the guy wanted $20 for this Hubie Brooks pile, and I said, but I started looking a little closer, and I started noticing some of the cards were signed, including a rookie card. There he is with his former roommate, Mookie Wilson. And there he is on the 82 tops, and the 83 tops, and the 85 tops, and 86 tops, and there was some Fleers and some Donruss, and the autographs just kept coming and coming. And I thought, well, surely this has to be worth $20. And then I looked in the back of the binder, and there were even 8x10s signed by Hubie Brooks. Just a crazy amount of Hubie Brooks autographs, who I believe stopped TTMing. So these should have some worth. And so I think I can make my $20 back. But anyway, I have about 40 Hubie Brooks autographs now, including all of this great collector set. So that's my Hubie 40. And so let's move on to my Burdick move. Not my Burdick move, Burdick move. A few episodes ago I showed you this. This is the N150 Actresses set. On the front you see a woman at a spool weaving some yarn. And on the back, you note that there were some stamps on this. This was in the collection of Jefferson Burdick. He brought it to the Met Museum, but there were more than one of this card, so it got stamped as a duplicate. I'm having a hard time showing you the stamp because the lighting is goofy, but trust me, it's there. And so I picked up this card, and a couple of you reached out and said that you got some too. You found the honey hole like I did. And so I decided to pick up a couple more. And this was my Burdick move. One of these is Lillian Russell, the actress, and so she was a little bit more expensive. But these three all have stamps on them from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Duplicate. And so I think I'm going to bring these to Strongsville and see if anybody there is interested in them. So that was my Burdick move. How about a Pearl of Wisdom? My buddy Brent Richards sent me this. This is the photographic image of Nolan Ryan that he turned into an amazing custom card. And he also had this pearl finish edition that he sent to me, which I super appreciate. So totally beautiful. Not only did he send me that, he sent me this rated Mookie Photoshop job that he did, which is super creative and fun and interesting. And thank you to Brent. How about, let's go to my trade night victory. I went to the trade night at Bleecker Street Cards in the Village in Manhattan and set up Sammy Thunder and the 4 collectors, put it on with Leighton, Sheldon, and Just Collects. And it was a blast. I set up a half a table worth of stuff on the out there, and including a Yogi Berra picture pack image that I had, that it was sort of superfluous in my current configuration. And the guy next to me at Trade Night said, "Look at my table, see if you like anything. Maybe we can make a deal." And so he gave me this. Now, I had never in my life thought that I would own a Slingin' Sammy Baugh rookie card. And this one obviously has some wear on it and is not in pristine condition, but it's beautiful. And so I traded my Yogi Berra picture pack from 1947 for Slingin' Sammy Baugh, plus a little cash kicker there. But I thought it was a great deal, and I'm super happy to have this card. So that was my trade night victory at Bleecker Street. Thank you to all the folks who put that on for letting me come out there and enjoy the good times. Now, let's talk about the Tom Terrific patch. I'm not a patch card guy, but when I was at my local card shop and I saw this in one of their sort of dollar-y type bins, I couldn't help myself. 1971 All-Star Game Salute. So, and on Upper Deck, they give you the full paragraph of how you know this is an official thing, and Richard McWilliams signed it. Upper Deck is very good about being explicit about where patches come from. And if you're a patch collector for the Mets and you do not get a pinstripe, then you have failed. And so I got this card for a measly $10. Tom Seaver's slice of his jersey. He's got a bunch of memorabilia up now at auction, but I got this one very inexpensively and very happily at my local card shop. Let's go to the Folio. How about some Folio cards? Now, I've been starting a little Ken Griffey Jr. a couple pages in my Z Folio, and I picked these up recently. These are 1991 Bleachers card. That's Ken Griffey Jr. in his Moeller High School uniform there, and his Bellingham Mariners uniform there. Shout out to Don't Talk to Robots. He's got the backwards cap. These are fully licensed cards. Have some kind of 23 karat gold on them. Maybe it's in the autograph on the bottom, and they're serial numbered. And so I just love these cards just for goofy, like weird sets of Ken Griffey Jr. From the early 90s, which I think are super cool and are going to go into my Z Folio. And that's why this is to the Folio. And I'm going to show you where those are going in the Z Folio in just a moment, but I just want to show you a couple other additions that are going into the Z Folio. My buddy Greg from Midlife Cards showed me a Transformer card that he bought recently, and he inspired me. And I was at a card show in Wayne, New Jersey very recently and met a man named Jason who had a full setup of 1985 Transformers Series 1 cards in blister packs, and they were beautiful. It was just amazing to see them all together. And I bought a couple off of him, including this one, which is Jetfire. Not one of my favorite Transformers, but I loved the Transformers as a kid. To see the cards all together inspired me to try and find more, and more I did find, and I will show you in the Z Folio, as I will show you where this guy is going in the Z Folio. This is a, I believe, 2008 or 2009. It's called Trading Card History, Ichiro Seattle Mariners. This is just a shout out to the sustained excellence of Ichiro Suzuki and his transfer from Japan baseball over to American in this beautiful chrome card in the style of a Menko card. And so this will fit snugly into my Z Folio, which I will show you. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other stuff in the Z Folio. I'm going to take you through all the pages in my sort of miscellaneous Z Folio, and that is going to happen right now. And here we have the Z Folio. Now these are awkward to show. My buddy Shane, Shoebox Legends, inspired me to pick a couple of these up in order to store cards. And this is page 1. Again, this is sort of a miscellaneous mishmash of things that I'm into that I think are super cool. I love collecting Ichiro Suzuki in sort of the vintage baseball card style. There's a Mayo cut plug and a, I guess it would be a 51 Bowman, 61 Topps, and 55 Bowman. Here's some refractors of Ichiro and 59 Topps and a Transogram. And you can see this is where that Ichiro Minko card that I got is going to go right in here. There's some old-timey Minko cards there. I have a couple of Griffey pages in my Z Folio. I love these cards. There's that Super Nintendo card I showed last episode, and just some really cool stuff. Some Metal Universe cards. This is, I think it's like titanium or platinum or something like that. Just really cool Griffey cards. This is where those bleacher cards go. So there's 3 in the set. There's some more Ken Griffey Jr.'s. I think there's one more page of Ken Griffey Jr. here. But I also have a nice page of Ohtani cards. This is one of his gold ones. But again, I love seeing players from abroad in the style of, traditional American baseball cards. I just think that juxtaposition is fun and interesting and cool. And here's some Mike Trout cards. I love the action variation cards that Heritage puts out. This one is one of my favorites. I just love the way I feel like these Heritage action variations, some of them make, totally activate the awesomeness of the design in a way that the original, say, 1965 Topps couldn't. These cards do it. I just think they're so cool. And here's some more action variations. Like this Kershaw is so freaking cool. The way that's composed, him sort of storking on his leg there and finishing his delivery with the big red button up there. I just love the way those cards are. That David Wright is another favorite of mine. Speaking of weird juxtapositions, there's my Will Ferrell cards. He did that thing for charity where he played in 10 different ballparks all in one spring day. This is my Chrome. Some of these are refractors, I think. But my Chrome 2003 Heritage set with some of my favorite ball players. There's, of course, Piazza and Griffey and Ichiro, Frank Thomas and the big unit, and Pujols and Guerrero, and some bleed over there. This is some other shorter prints from that set. They did like an alternate color for Jeter and like a midnight black for Pujols, some Cabrera rookies. Here's some autographs. There's my Eddie Watt autograph. This is my Orioles Future Stars card. Now, why do I have that autograph? This is the first ever Topps Future Stars card. And the guy on the left there, Mark Corey, was the first guy Topps ever said, "You are going to be a star in the future." And I don't know, you know that name? Some other sort of random autographs. Really cool cards. This is the 1990 or 91 O'Connell set. I just love these pencil drawings. Some of these are super cool. My Topps Living Bill Greason. Again, we get into some sort of modern cards with vintage players. These were national giveaways. There's some switch hitting Mickey. This is from a Topps archive set. That's just a reproduction. Most of these are not worth much of anything, but super cool and worthy of Folio. None of these are gradable. This is my football page. Bo Jackson. I pulled all those cards myself. The Staubach, who my father knew back in the day. This is my Bo Jackson page. My favorite Bo Jacksons from back in the day. This one I actually just picked up out of the 1990 score set. I got the set for $10. The card is worth it. But super cool Bo cards. Here's some Frank Thomas cards and some Nolan Ryan cards. That one's from Brent. This is a little subset that I put together, and I always am on the lookout for. These are gumback cards. Now, in my estimation, my view, there are sort of three eras of modern baseball collecting, well, of baseball card collecting. Tobacco, bubblegum, and then what I call the Elements era. And so there was a time when you could get cards that were stained with tobacco. There's a time when you could get cards that were stained with gum. And then there's a time where the elements take over. There's no more staining. But these are some of my favorite cards. Bo Jackson's rookie card, Joe Montana, Dr. K, Dwight Gooden, Boggs, really got it in there. Tom Seavers, Ricky, Mark McGuire. And then Frank Viola has one here, and then this one is stuck. Same 87 tops, Frank Viola. So that is my gum stained back collection. There's Bonds and McGuire. These are some of my favorite little Ricky cards. Gotta love Ricky. It's just sort of a very random page. It's the first ever Upper Deck card. If you know, you know. Some of my blurrier focused cards, thanks to Ground Chuck. This is the basketball collection right here, folks. Magic and Bird and Jordan and Hologram Jordan, just random stuff that I've sort of picked up over the years. I love that set. I think I opened packs of those back in the day. And then we get into the pop culture area. I'm a Star Wars guy. I'm a Chewbacca guy. And I have some Chewbacca cards, some Han Solo, and super cool. There's my Sit On It Fonzie, Jaws. You got the Eighth Wonder of the World, King Kong. You got some Marvel cards here, super cool. These are 1974 Batman cards. How about this? Do the Bartman. Simpsons stickers from 1990 or 91 tops, I want to say. These are my Manco Mario cards. I showed those off a couple episodes ago. Pac-Man was the biggest thing on planet Earth. In fact, I was the first person in our family to complete a Pac-Man board at the arcade, so it was a big deal. And then here's those Transformer cards. Remember I was showing you the one that I picked up? That will replace this one. So I picked this up at the card show, and the guy had really nicely conditioned cards. And when I got home, I found a lot on eBay that was selling, and they were damaged cards. You can probably see some staining on some of these. But the Optimus Prime is a big card. I love this Soundwave guy. He had the coolest voice in all of Transformers. Let's listen.
Alert! Alert! Autobots escaping!
So that's Soundwave. That's Ravage and what's the bad guy's name? You know the bad guy's name. Megatron and Bumblebee. Anyway, you get the point. I just think they look super cool all together in a nine-some there. And just like these guys look cool when they're sort of back to baseball. 1959 tops. I put this together. My buddy Sammy Thunder helped me with this when he was selling originally. And that's it. So that's the folio, Mookie's full folio. I got a couple spots left. We'll see if we can fill it up. But that's it. We'll leave it there. Arrivederci. Have a great night. Thanks for taking the tour. Aloha.